midwifery in Delaware is volatile at the moment.
Sarah Culver is with the Delaware Birth Network. She says for years, non-nurse midwives have cared for pregnant women without proper permission from the state.
For a long time, the State Board of Health and the physician community has sort of looked the other way.
To legally care for moms and babies in Delaware, a midwife needs a Delaware obstetrician to agree to be a sponsor of sorts. But for more than a decade, not one non-nurse midwife has been able to get a doctor to sign on.
Without the collaborative agreement, you can't get a license. Without a license, they accuse you of practicing medicine without a license, even though midwifery isn't medicine. And that charge of practicing medicine without a license is a felony in the state of Delaware.
I called as many doctors as I could. I sent them letters of introduction. I offered to share my practice guidelines, which I
Midwife Susan DiNatale has a certification from a national board, but she does not have a permit to practice in Delaware. In May, the state issued a cease and desist order against DiNatale. The pressure increased this summer when the law changed. Non-nurse midwives now face jail time if they work without a permit.
The end result is that there are probably going to be a lot of people out there having unassisted home births or free births or do-it-yourself home births, whatever you want to call it. And that's a disaster waiting to happen.
At a recent community meeting, obstetrician-gynecologist Nancy Fan says she has a good relationship and trusts the training of midwives who are registered nurses. The new law is not aimed at those midwives. Fan says she has very little experience, though, with non-nurse midwives.
There is a lot of concern regarding, on our side, regarding what kind of care is being offered, and we want to understand.
I am optimistic that through respectful problem solving, we will be able to find some solutions that will work.
Many say the required collaborative agreement implies a doctor is liable for a midwife's work.
Obstetricians make money. Unfortunately, any type of lawsuit, when it comes down to, well, what went wrong and who can we blame, they're going to go for somebody who makes some money.
They don't know who we are. What our training is, that we're not familiar to them. We don't practice nursing. We're not trained to take care of sick people. Our education is in taking care of normal, healthy pregnant women, and that's what we're experts in.
Webster also said she no longer assists with home births in Delaware. Instead, clients come to her practice in Elkton, Maryland. Melissa Rivera says 2 times before, Karen Webster helped her achieve the natural, low-tech birth she wanted.
I trust myself and my body, and I especially trust Karen.
Rivera gave birth to her first child in a hospital and says she and her doctor bumped heads.
Things that I specifically said I didn't want, and he agreed, and then, I have an internal monitor, I'm not allowed to get up, and I had to labor, laying down.
When it's time to have her next baby, Rivera says her family and midwife Karen Webster will be there. She plans to cross state lines to deliver at her parents' house in Maryland. Giving birth in her own home is not an option.
I can get my midwife thrown in jail or, fined and in a lot of trouble if I go that route.